Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Strange Weapons of World War II. I'm Gabriel, I'm content designer on HOI 4, and with me today...
What up, I'm Niall, I'm embedded QA on Hearts of Iron, and I'm standing in for Dan, because he wanted to go home and have a little sleep. So unfortunately you've got me this evening rather than your beloved Dan.
I like to think of it as an upgrade. Alright, for those of you who were not here yesterday, we're going to go through the teams real quickly. We have our very own Daniel playing the British Empire, who has decided to go fascist in a completely unexpected turn of events. And he's supported by Enter Elysium. And for those of you who were here yesterday, we did a little scripting magic over the intervening time and have made him actually free. So he's no longer a puppet of Britain. He can do what he wants, but should probably support his teammate.
Yep, it's in the name of fun.
Exactly. And in Germany, we have Quill 18 still playing with the most amazing hat of the game currently. August Mackinson probably trying to get the Kaiser back.
It is a fantastic hat.
It is a fantastic.
Everyone's going to keep talking about that until the game gets released.
And he's supported in Austria-Hungary by the Spiffing Brit. And they are surrounded by the Comintern, which is in this case our very own Breton in France as communist, and the Solar Gamer in the Soviet Union.
Yep. So the old empires are wedged white between two rather large, rather powerful communist nations. So. And
they have the fascist British Empire is just across the seas, right?
That's true. It's going to have to, with Daniel being the wild card in the UK, he's going to have to get some serious diplomacy going if the German Empire wants to actually live past the next couple of years.
Yes. And in Asia, we have Team Japan go up against Team China. And Team Japan is Drew in Japan. Hadn't had a great first session.
Nope.
Maybe he has rethought his approach over the hours in between.
Had a nice serious chat with his teammates.
Yeah. And he's supported by Sheng Rin in Manchukuo, and also with fascist Australia, played by Jace Gaming.
Yep.
And they are up against the Chinese United Front, led by Rambler, Alex the Rambler, in China, supported by no one else but the Prussian Prince in Xinjiang. And for full disclosure, we played around a bit with his focus tree because there was a bug that meant he couldn't take any focuses. So we fixed that bug and we gave him 3 free focuses to get him where he would be if that
give
bug
him a little bit of a helping hand, considering we hit him down last time by accident. So,
and the last one is Mabuzir in communist China.
Of course, let's pretend I didn't forget.
Well,
he's been having a pretty rough time.
Yeah, he has not partaken in as many conquests as perhaps his teammates have.
Everybody else has been eating his stuff for him.
Yes.
Giving him a helping hand.
And just before the stream, we had a little test game where Alex tried to hand over some territory. It did not go well.
It did not go well at all.
No.
Which we will totally be fixing, I promise.
Mm-hmm.
So, hypothetically, if I wasn't here last session, who killed who ate what? It looks like the Austro-Hungarian Empire got formed.
Yes.
Germany decided to eat Poland?
Well, Germany had to go through its little, civil war thing.
Yep.
And
Get rid of that old Hitler fella.
Yeah, then they decided, you know what, probably should take Poland before someone else goes for it. And the Republicans won the war in Spain without support from France, which was surprising, I guess.
Looks like France made a beeline straight to become communist.
Yes.
Which, so, if I understand correctly, they could have helped their Polish allies, but maybe they chose not to because they're still, they're still getting a pretty hefty bad time from all these spirits they still have yet to get rid of. But it looks like Drickus is beelining right now for army reform, which is a good move.
No, from what I understand, there was...
and Return of the Kaiser very, very soon in Germany as well.
the Comintern were very close to intervening in the Polish war, but couldn't push the button in time.
Yep, that's what I would say too if I backed out of a war.
Yes.
Let's have a quick nosy at what the Comintern is up to.
And the Soviet Union still supporting communists in Turkey. Very interesting.
I'm just trying to get an idea of what kind of, because we've got a pretty large breadth of skill with a lot of these players. Some new people, some very experienced people. Just trying to have a look around, see what kind of templates everybody's running, seeing if anybody's playing the old horrific giant multiplayer template game.
No.
But it doesn't look like it. Looks like we've got a relatively normal setup here for a change in a multiplayer game, which is kind of unusual.
Interesting. Japan is building paratroopers with the naval landing in China. Sadly, not able to establish a beachhead. Perhaps they are looking for trying a different approach this time.
Oh yes, last time didn't go so well. Yeah.
The Northern Front is completely static. Everyone has dug in. It's basically World War I all over again.
And it looks like the communists are boosting support in Turkey.
Yes.
Probably to get access through the Straits.
Yeah, probably to get the Black Seas fleet out into the Mediterranean. Considering
it's 38, the British Raj looks to have a lot of divisions as well. Ah. Is it because they're bad divisions by chance? No, they're not terrible. I take it back. I apologize.
Can't just say these things.
I know. I just make assumptions and make an ass of you and me.
Being rude to our streamer friends.
So it doesn't look like.
But it might look like the Raj wants to push into Siam.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you just draw battle plans because you feel like it.
Yeah.
You know, not necessarily a sign of aggression by any means.
Not at all.
So it doesn't look like any progress got made in the. Wow, that's a lot of divisions being piled in there by the Chinese. So Northern Front completely stale. No successful. Whoa! Look at those naval invasions though by China. That would be rather gutsy considering the size of the Japanese navy still, unless I missed something. Nope, it's still very very big. So. I believe China, but I don't know if I... Oh,
boy.
Never mind. Oh, wait. No, they'd have to go through these sea provinces. But it looks like the Japanese player has stacked all of their fleets, ships, boats. I know if I call them boats, I'm going to upset some people. But all in the 3 sea zones surrounding the coast, which means if they could navally invade from somewhere else, they don't have anyone guarding their ports... and no navy around their shore to intercept. So let's hope Japan's got
looks like
deals with other people?
Yeah, I suppose there was some diplomacy took place in the last couple of hours.
Maybe.
We'll see.
I don't know. Ooh, hello. What's going on here? It looks like the Comintern has their eyes on Italy for some reason. Italy has remained...
Oh.
It looks like...
Bulgaria has joined the Central Powers. Yes.
Were they getting justified on by somebody?
I suppose it was at some point. No, the Soviet Union decided to go north this time. Interesting. We speculated that they wanted to take Bulgaria, but apparently they did not.
I mean, without being mean to both Finland and Bulgaria, they're kind of worthless strategically.
Oh, dare you.
The thing that you want to really go for is Yugoslavia, so you can really push the numbers advantage that the Soviet Union currently has, especially when you look at the current division count of the Austrians, which isn't amazing. And oh my God, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. 40 with infantry. Excellent.
No artillery because screw that.
Yeah, something like that. So it looks like Brit might have a good idea what he's doing.
Oh, looks like the Austro-Hungarians also want a piece of Italy.
Yep, it does. It looks like it's going to be a joint justification, and they're going to... I suspect, because if you can rush enough places, right, of the Italian territory, then you can get a decent chunk. And because you're not at war with France, say, if you can cut them off here, The Italian Navy will stop you from getting invaded from the side and stealing more territory.
And in other news, the Kaiser has returned to Germany.
It's a pretty smart move there by the Austrians if they can pull it off. But all their divisions are on the other side of the world.
Yeah, well, they're still sort of looking at the Soviets, right?
Yeah.
So
maybe looking at them a little bit too much?
I don't know.
That said, they are completely tapped out on manpower and running a rather large... I suspect it's because of their giant template, Niall. Pay attention. Keep up. They probably switched over, and now they're just going to have to wait for it to gen back up. Anything going on in Asia?
Not really. The front has not really moved at all.
How's that that planned naval invasion looking from Japan?
I suppose the United Front has shuffled some troops around.
Sorry, Blondie. Sorry.
There's a 30 stack of Xinjiang divisions just
hanging out, just
chilling out,
yeah,
just
waiting for rifles to arrive or be built, I suspect. Because that is one of the super interesting things about most of the Chinese states is they are manpower rich and very, very, very poor in pretty much everything else.
He is a cool 31k down in the drains.
And how long's that going to take him to work up? A couple of years?
Well, ideally his teammates would, send over some equipment.
Yeah.
But I guess they too need that to run their own.
Yeah, I wonder why Republican Spain isn't joining the Comintern right now.
Interesting.
They have no real interest in base reluctance, plus neither are at war. So that maybe did the Soviet Union not finish the where am I? They haven't even started to rehabilitate the military.
No, I think
that's a bit of a dangerous move, or are they good?
Well, they went to war with Romania to get it the hard way.
I mean, the easier way, some would say, in an MP game.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a really smart move.
I know. It's almost like these people know what they're doing.
Hey, I believe. So, bets on who's going to win this early, I know.
No. But I'm not going to make bets on who's going to win. I'm going to make you a counter bet. Do you think this bloc Friendship Front is going to survive the session?
I forgot about the ridiculous faction names.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hopeful. I feel that... So, Daniel's your wild card here, right?
Yeah.
Daniel and Elysium. Elysium, not so much of a player right now. Raj is in kind of a difficult position. Like, I'm sure they're going to start building up this session, but... Whereas the United Kingdom could be a relatively real big help. Let's just have a quick look at what Daniel's running.
Yes.
Ooh, he's stealing divisions as well. But not a whole lot of anything fancy, but still, I mean, they're fascist Britain, they're decent, they've got a giant navy as well. So I suspect that if Quill starts getting crushed, Daniel's going to have to come in to help, because otherwise he's got a giant communist Europe to deal with.
Yes.
Which is not going to be a good time.
No.
Rip the old empire. How supportive, Twitch chat. How supportive. The other thing that I think that everybody appears to have forgotten about is that the United States exists.
But is an AI player.
But is an AI player, also known as Easy Pickings, right?
Oh. But are they that easy pickings? Because we did some changes in Waking the Tiger. So
yes,
if the US loses a core state, they get a special decision.
Yep.
That lets them skip a lot of their focuses. So
and then it becomes a question of whether a player can take them down in time rather than... take them down in time enough for them to... Before they ramp up. That's what I'm trying to say. But it doesn't look like Daniel's going for that. I don't see any justifications coming out or anything. I mean... Apparently the United States is planning a trip to Canada sometime soon, but I don't think they'll be executed.
justifying against Siam, so I suppose the British Raj is going to go on its first foreign expedition.
I suspect it's a case of Daniel trying to feed the Raj as much as possible while he still can. And also then you've got access to the rather tasty French colonies in Indochina, which, if I'm not mistaken, have a decent amount of rubber and tungsten that Dricus... The British don't need it, but if Dricus doesn't have it, it's definitely a detriment to them.
Taking stuff away from your enemy, always useful.
Yep, very much so. For some reason, France is not filling up... What are you doing, man? Oh, wow. France are behind on their doctrine research.
Oh.
I suspect they're still waiting on... Yep, still waiting on army reform. That's why.
Yes. And what... Twitch chat wants to know what's happening in New Zealand.
What is happening in New Zealand?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I wonder, have they started to conscript sheep yet, or...?
Centralist Australia has war goats against New Zealand. They might actually go for it. And take it over.
I don't see why you would do that, but I respect the guts of it,
well,
you know?
It's... why not? It's free real estate, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Free stuff is always free.
And Australia is also looking to conquer some stuff in Indonesia.
Ooh, yeah, I was going to say, what's going on with Indonesia? They're super interested. What am I doing? Blah, 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 blah.
Which is weird, because they're also sending volunteers to them to help them win against the...
Yeah, no, what is happening?
What is happening?
Oh, dear. Any plays yet in the Italian? Oof.
Yeah, both sides, or all sides, seem to be...
Those appear to be Soviet divisions. They are Soviet divisions. A rather large Soviet army is now on the Italian border in France, which is... I suspect they're just going to try and punch straight through.
Good old Soviet style?
But, I don't know, that's mountains, that's fortifications, and... I mean, I know, Italians are apparently pushovers, but... Still, that's a chunky amount of infantry in forts in mountains to get through.
And then, they're
especially when France
practicing.
Yep.
I was going to say that's some pretty harsh attrition you're taking there.
I mean, France still has their penalty. I believe so does the Soviet Union. Oh no, it doesn't. Blah. So, I don't know. I mean, you probably take that fight anyway, because what else are you going to do, right? Especially with the Austrians justifying on them. The only other thing that the French could do is sally out their navy, but they probably need that to fight the UK. If they're going to fight the UK, I'm not saying that I know anything about, French plans to take out the UK or anything.
No.
That would be ridiculous.
But we can tell Twitch chat that we heard Breton speculate about, the matchup between the navies and all that.
I mean, I wouldn't want to portray Bratton's, he trusted us, Gabriel.
Did he? He should know that trust between content designers is a fickle thing.
I'll remember that.
Yes.
Right. Come on, somebody start a war.
Well,
oh, Japan's doing something. Oh, no, wait, it's China attacking. Let me
something's
guess.
happened. No.
It's a very strange combat to take, but okay. Grinding out some... No, you don't need... Grinding out some XP, maybe?
I guess, they are closing in on 100 XP, so they can finally start reforming their army.
Oh, man. I think that just judging from the state of a lot of nations, a lot of the players seem to have not really adjusted to decisions quite existing in the game yet. Which, I mean... fair enough. They've had the build for like 2 days. No judgment of their strategic prowess.
In full fairness, we also gave a lot of them like apocalypse keys. So they
What's
probably...
Apocalypse, Gabriel? I've never heard of it.
I believe it is one of our partner games.
Oof.
Stellaris.
Are you saying you've been playing something other than Hoi, young man?
I may have. But I'm not going to confirm or deny that.
But I mean, even Japan, who is in, let's be generous, they're in a bit of a rough spot. They're not doomed, but they have lost a lot of men for basically nothing gained.
Yes.
And they aren't taking the decisions available to them, which are, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, prioritize guns for steel is pretty great because who's going to navally challenge them?
Exactly.
Right? So they don't need to worry about naval
Not the
production.
USAI.
Exactly. Maybe it's because their PP generation's pretty terrible when they're doing focuses.
Yeah.
What focuses?
And the British Empire is pushing against...
Did I just do a Daniel and click away against something that's super important?
Nah.
What's going on? Oh, it's
they're at war.
Ah, it's the Raj.
Yes, the Raj is going to eat Siam. Going to be interesting what... if the French have been consulted on this.
I mean... Hypothetically, right? If Dricker said no, he'd be annoying somebody who's his biggest threat.
Yeah.
So I don't think even if he was consulted, he would have said no.
But on the other hand, he can't have an interest in his opponents growing any larger. So
that's true.
But I guess the Comintern are more concerned with Italy at the moment. So perhaps it's just very good timing from the wild card allies, as they're called.
And I guess it does allow them to link up the land bridge and protect Malaysia. Malaya better if they're connected by land.
Mm-hmm.
But yep, can I get some Fs in the chat for Siam, because they are doomed.
Yes. And Australia is pushing against the people they just supported and brought into power. It's a rough world.
Yeah. It's only 1938 as well. Thanks for the Fs, chat. That said, it's really quiet in Europe.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we're just going to have to wait for the Italian thing to kick off.
Yeah, it's got to get pretty crazy.
Yeah. And I should look at the... Come on, peace conference it up.
Come on, hop up. Push.
What are they doing? Are they arguing over what tiny bits of Siam each of them are going to take? Just because they're both wild cards doesn't mean they're both united in their wild cardness.
Nice. We're making up new words.
Yep. I mean, come on, you can do it.
Just push. Just push.
Oh.
There we go.
Way. Peace deal confirmed. Damn, that is a big old bunch of equipment, especially for India.
And there goes the French commune again.
Get back over to Europe real quick.
Oh.
Oh, nope. Okay. Yeah, there we go.
And it looks like the Italian AI also had a naval landing planned for just this occasion.
I mean, it's because the entire French Navy is just sitting around. So maybe, like I said, France is saving their fleet.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
possible.
A relatively smart move. I mean, you have to fight the British Navy, right? Which is the worst, the best Navy.
Yes.
Sorry, it's the best Navy in the world.
I was going to say, if you say worst, I'm going to have to call your embassy.
Or I get fired from my job.
Yes.
But they're not pushing.
Well, they only have 24 days left before the Austrians are going to
and the Austrians are going to have a relatively easier time because most of the Italian divisions are on the French side because they declared first.
Yes.
But they aren't pushing. And there's a serious lack of any armor as well in either the Soviet or French armies there. So even if they do make a hole, they can't rush to block off the Austrians. This might have been a slight oversight. Do the Austrians have anything that's remotely quick? They have weird division icons. So okay, nope. They just have the big old infantry template.
Big old infantry template.
Get some hussars in there, boys. They're nice and fast.
I mean, it's in the name, right? Hussars.
That said, I wouldn't want to question. Excuse. I wouldn't want to question a fellow Brit, so I shan't.
All right.
I'm slightly rooting for the British YouTubers today, just based on the fact that they're British. I'm not going to lie. Nice. But for some reason, I'm not rooting for Britain.
Because they're fascist. Or because it's Daniel.
Because Oswald... Oh, yeah, it's King Edward. No! My beautiful royal family that I totally respect and love.
All right, calling the embassy.
But there is no action on this front. I was expecting, like, smashing straight into the mountains just because they have to get there. And I suspect, although I don't want to assume, that the Soviets can take... Yeah, the Soviets can totally take both the equipment and not the manpower losses. Because they're still on volunteer only, which means they must have millions of men in the...
Quite
2.3 million in the field right now for the Soviet Union. Anything
it's
happening over in
no, it's not.
Japan?
It's like everyone goes to war and then they go like, whoa, what is happening?
I might lose things, but I spent last session building them.
Yes, I like them. I don't want to get scratches.
And the thing is as well, like, Quill is just recruiting stuff like there's no tomorrow. He has the manpower and the industrial output.
I mean, that is the only thing that can save him, right? He needs to get his army up.
This is what I mean, like, there was a time to strike, and people might miss it before, before Royalist Germany is back to being good old Germany, you know? Like,
Well, it is. It says right here it's going to be a new and better Germany.
Oh, beg your pardon, I didn't. Sorry, Mr. Wilhelm, sir.
Another member of your highly respected royal family.
Yeah.
No.
I'm just... Start killing each other, guys. Come on.
Come on.
The stream demands it.
It's not called the 3-day peace, right? Maybe I can click it.
Yeah. Austria-Hungary is at 0 manpower because they are waiting for their giant templates to fill up, and then they will start generating manpower. I just saw Twitch chat constantly asking about it.
But they have lost the Treaty of Trianon, so they can just up their conscription law.
The problem is they, I believe they can't... Oh, wait, no, they have buffed political... Of course. From the Habsburg restored, they have the buffed political power generation. I was going to say, because their political power generation isn't amazing, so maybe they're going to have to stop doing focuses to get up there a bit faster, but no, it does... It looks like... it looks like the Brit knows exactly what he's doing, so I will leave him to it. Question is, though, why isn't he declaring on Italy?
Well, he's still justifying.
Is he still justifying?
5 more days or something?
Oh, that'll be why.
Yeah, that would be
explains the mystery.
And now you know.
The more you know.
Yes.
Blondie, do we have like the magic rainbow star animation? Can we get one?
No, he's shaking his head.
I'll let you take out my paycheck.
Meanwhile, Australia's just walking over Indonesia in another very surprising victory.
I'm actually surprised how well France is doing for equipment. Because they stopped recruiting everything. That'll be why. I was going to say, the last time I was over here, they had a ginormous deficit.
Well, they still have a deficit of like 2.5k support.
And they've... so, here's a controversial thing that we were discussing in the office the other day. Maintenance companies are now, as far as I'm concerned, way more competitive. Because of the new good time feature for Waking the Tiger, equipment capture ratio, i.e. you can capture enemy equipment as you fight them, which is super useful because it's basically free equipment. You can capture it from regular combat, or you can capture it from encirclements. I forgot what the word was for a second then. And the ratios increase with the different tech levels.
Yeah,
so it goes
I've been running them as China and especially as PRC. Like
they are just fantastic.
You can equip entire divisions just with captured equipment.
And then
super useful.
let's quickly... Oh, whoops, that was... misclick. And then there's the scavenger perk as well, which increases the ratio even more. Maintenance companies are super competitive, in my humble opinion, in multiplayer right now. Some people have been disagreeing with me, but I've been running them a lot. Not naming names. But I've been super enjoying them right now, so I gave some friendly advice out, and I was wondering who was gonna take that advice, and it does seem that Drickus is on my side, which I think means I win. Whoa,
and Austria-Hungary goes to war against Italy. And maybe they're actually pushing. Come on, push that button. Push it. Push it. Left click. Come on. You can do this.
This is
tense. This is very tense.
I get it. No one wants to attack into entrenched forces in the mountains, but then why start the war?
Exactly. Well, if you start the war, you
have a butchers in Asia,
and nothing is
happening.
Yeah.
So what are they all waiting for? I suspect the Chinese are just waiting to build a whole lot of stuff.
Oh no, there's combat on the Italian front.
Okay, is it?
The Austrians are pushing.
Ooh, is it violent? Is it bloody?
It is very cruel. People are definitely dying.
As soon as they break through, they should just rush to the other side, completely block off, and just ruin the Comintern's chances of getting into Italy.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't wanna jump to conclusions, but it looks like China hasn't researched artillery, and it's nearly 1939. What is going on, China?
I heard that there was discussion on the forum. Well, I read that there was discussion on the forums about the use of artillery in the new meta, because we are nerfing its soft attack, and people were going, why do I even bother?
You're telling me the entire Hoi player base is going to abandon artillery forever?
I'm not saying the entire
1.5.
Hoi player base. I'm saying the competitive Hoi player base.
Ooh. But I mean, I genuinely, especially if you can get the Zhuangxi clique.
Very well.
Sure, I'm sorry. On side, you have enough tungsten to produce at least a decent amount of artillery. And I think one of the main reasons that people aren't running it is because they're scared of having like 2 different infantry divisions. So you either run it on everything or you run it on nothing. Whereas I find that migrating towards artillery very, very early on is a really good strategy, even with the soft attack nerfs. That said, we should ask Katya. She'll run up some maths for us.
She'll do the math.
How's Italy going? I'll keep
I don't
my
know.
eye on China. You keep your eye on Italy.
There are provinces that are completely empty. That the the Austrians are sending their puppet troops into, which is
they're trying to rush at least. That's
well,
rush at the pace that infantry can rush.
But they're at least advancing, which is more than can be said about the communists.
So are the French waiting on something? I'll have a quick look, considering literally nothing is happening in Asia. They don't have a naval invasion. Oh, wait, beg your pardon, they do have a naval invasion.
Ooh.
The question is, though, where is the French fleet?
Well, it is
It's in the Western Mediterranean.
Yes.
So this is... Let's have a... He's probably Steve sniping, but we'll have a quick look in Italy. Opposed landings, plenty of reinforcements around. He might have a bad time.
Yeah, but I suppose he still has to, find the Italian fleet and bring it to battle.
Yeah. It does, however, look like somebody just lost something in the... it's the German Navy just running some, let's call them exercises, to look for rogue Italian transports there. I'll just quickly have a look over in Asia again. What am I doing?
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Italian AI has noticed. Oh. And that is Indonesia.
I was
panicking
then. I was like, what is this? What did we miss?
that would be a
who just got paradropped murdered.
Well, you can try that now. But
go ahead and try.
With a new
what is
garrison AI, it's not quite as easy. Interesting that what is going on here? Now they're back to being the Dutch East Indies. That is.
So let's have a look at what's going on the decision front. Japan still not picking anything. China still sitting around. Have you done army reform? You have done army reform.
Ah, good man.
There we go. Rambler getting the plays out.
Still 32 days until the effect is actually run, so...
Yep.
Probably gonna wait. Oh, and the French are pushing.
Oh.
Apparently
they back over to Europe.
They waited until the Italian AI had to pull off troops to deal with the Austrian incursion. Oh, and they have draft dodging. Oh, look at their stability and war support. People in France are not happy about this war.
Pretty appalling. Drickus, come on, my friend. Take some decisions, sort that stuff out. Also, you've got Italian and German scientists just waiting to give you a hand. Oh, I guess you can't take the stability hit. My mistake.
Yep.
But
can't afford it.
Nice to see some movement on the Italian front. It's a shame it's just quite slow. Quite slow.
Yeah, no one seems to have really invested in tanks to make.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty early, right? I suspect a lot of people are waiting to invest heavily in mediums because light tanks suck.
And another controversial opinion.
Controversial, very controversial.
Yes. Well, Quill is researching.
You know what's more controversial, Gabriel?
Oh, how?
You know what I'm going to show you? Why is the Matilda tank a light tank, Gabriel?
I've been asking myself that question several times this year.
Have you ever thought about handing your letter of resignation in over it?
I mean, it's almost as bad as calling the Japanese service rifle in Arisaka, right?
That's going to haunt me until I either
quit
or get
will.
fired. Right. So
I think in this case it was an issue of we had already ordered 3D art.
hey, I mean, it's goddamn gorgeous 3D and 2D art. No
Yeah.
one's denying that. Like,
And then we went like, we kind of need to have the correct 2D art for it.
Italy's desperately trying to join Japan in their glorious coast prosperity. I mean, power to you, Italy, I believe. But I suspect that Japan doesn't want to accept that and go to war when it can't do anything in this.
Certainly not.
China war at the moment.
No,
I mean,
opening another front in that war is not a great idea.
I can't understand though is what is Japan waiting for exactly?
I don't know.
Like, I don't see any sneakiness going on.
For the love of Christ, man, take a decision.
Yeah.
Like, you have 100.
I mean, this is what I mean, right? He's not waiting on a decision. There's got to be some kind of Diplo stuff going on behind the scenes, right, that we're just not seeing.
Yes.
Waiting to cast a deal with somebody. Maybe the Japanese and the Chinese are going to stop fighting and just march over the Soviet Union towards Europe.
Like, we're technically at war, but, no harm, no foul.
Let's have a look at the casualties so far. Oof. That is pretty much blow for blow from the Italians. For every 1,000 they lose, it looks like somebody else lost another 1,000. That is not bad at all, Italy. Keep fighting them in the mountains because they're obviously not doing so good at it. Damn.
Meanwhile, the AI seems to have stalled both offensives from the Austrians and the French, which is quite impressive, if you ask me.
I mean,
even counterattacking and putting the Soviets on the run.
Oh, man, has anyone showed off look at those winter uniforms?
Yeah, I think we did.
They're
pretty nice.
They are pretty nice, man. Look super cool. Adds a lot of variety to like the 3D assets now as well. So like you look around and you can see all different kinds of like nations and their uniforms. It's pretty cool.
Was apparently quite a job for the 3D artists because some countries only have summer uniforms or desert uniforms, and then
why would you want to fight in the winter, Gabriel?
Exactly, it's a
I'm
terrible
told
idea.
Constantly it's a terrible idea.
I mean, you're in Sweden, right? Would you pick up a rifle and go outside and start fighting?
I mean, I can barely be bothered to pick myself up and go outside. Yugoslavia
Claims Bulgaria. Oh, maybe not.
Okay.
There's action on the Chinese front. Apparently, China is pushing.
I mean, this is
success.
the mistake that Japan has made, right? Like, they start more powerful than China. They give China more time. China's going to become more powerful than them.
Yes.
Maybe not in like technology, but in sheer numbers and sheer production capacity, and then they've lost.
Yes.
The important thing though is that China has a load of weak units at the beginning of the game and loads of ports and coastline, and you have a superior navy.
You have to abuse that.
Yeah, very much so. Especially with the players in the other Chinese states backing him up, he's gonna have a rough. Oh my God, what are you doing, young man?
I think he's trying out the new pen with wet matter. You want to comment on that?
I mean, I'm hoping he's not trying for the exploit because he's just going to embarrass himself or out of sync us into oblivion.
Yeah, also
but it doesn't work anymore. I suspect that's why it's a Paradox logo as well.
Meanwhile, casualties on the keep saying Italian, on the Chinese front, pretty even. Like Japan, most of these were in the little prisoner of war camp here on the coast, I suppose, which was eventually dissolved. No, wasn't good times.
New theory from Twitch chat right now that Japan, in fact, is not fighting them because they actually want to be part of Team China. That's an interesting theory, at least.
That's a very interesting theory.
That said, though, the Italians just like kicking some ass here. Who would like, come on, what are you doing, guys?
This is Italy we're talking about.
Yeah, right. Remember that war where Italy took everybody down one for one the entire time and fought off like 2 superpowers and the Austrians? No, me neither.
2 superpowers and the Austrians. That's pretty harsh.
It's my newer power metal band.
Nice. But yeah, the French are slowly pushing in.
Oh, looks like we've got a leader wounded event on my thing, which means somebody was too close to the front lines and pissing about.
Well,
And they've got themselves shot.
Actually doing their job.
Oh, right, yeah, that's what military leaders do, right? I remember the golf trips and the nice fancy armchairs and the big maps, but not much else.
You've been in a lot of wars?
I mean, I've played a lot of Hoi. Does that count?
Absolutely.
I don't know how many times I've rolled across Poland at this point. That said, this one attack that it is straight, nationalist China keep trying to do is a bit silly, but I kind of get what they're going for, right? You run the coast. You always run the coast, then you starve out the Japanese.
Yes.
If the Chinese have enough divisions to hold the weird snake they create, then anything up here is pretty ruined. The thing is, though, I'm seeing tons and tons of everybody's leaders without, like, infantry expert trait, right? Like, they should be taking these leader traits as soon as they can, especially as China. I mean, this right here for Rambler would be insanely powerful because all he's running is infantry, and he hasn't taken it with full command power. I think it's just a case of YouTube is not, we gave them 2 days, so they haven't learned all the new stuff yet.
No.
Whereas I've been with this build for a very long time.
Yes,
so
you spot all the mistakes.
I'm spitting down from a great height.
Yes.
But there are so many advantages they could be running right now. They just have to work out what they want to do. Damn. The French still getting destroyed here. Look at these losses. Like, let's have a look. You finished army reform, right? Yeah. So what's the problem here?
No, it's going forward.
Your divisions are decent, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and Germany is seeing to the Eastern Front, which is, I believe, fortifying it. This is the focus branch that Drikas was working on, so I'm not 100%. Yes, it adds a lot of land forts and demands memo.
Yeah, right, down here.
Yes.
This stuff, it's good stuff.
Not the worst idea, I suppose. The Germans have a really long border with the Soviets. It's going to be interesting if
yeah. It does, however, look like at this point the Italian front, they've advanced so little that the supplies are becoming a rather large problem and attrition might be setting in pretty rough. That said, though, I mean, if you're going to start a war in the mountains, come prepared, and they just didn't. So
it's almost like if you're going to invade Russia in the winter, bring winter clothing. Listen closely, German High Command.
Right, let's see how his exploits are going, shall we? Okay, he's out of equipment at this point.
Oh.
Well, I'll leave you to it. You know what? Find your own fun. And
well, he's only...
Oh, so they are just... I was going to say, what the hell is this battle plan? But they are justifying against Iran.
Nice.
I would suspect to give them access to the Soviets. Although I don't know why they would want access to the Soviets. Do you have any idea, Gabriel?
If they're going to go... I would suspect that this the team wildcard is a bit worried about how the communists are doing.
The communists are doing, yeah.
So,
well, I mean, they obviously can't see the casualties on the Italian front if they were that. Otherwise, they'd be slightly less worried, right?
But having a front with the Soviets means that if there's going to be a war in Europe,
they can get hit in the bottom.
Yes.
They have to guard this rather large area.
Yes.
Even if it is just a token defense force. And the more you can split up a giant like the Soviet Union, the better. Especially when you already know that they definitely have to be guarding the China/Japan front as well.
And the Italian AI is actually counterattacking. I can't believe it. Actually making progress. It's... I'm impressed.
I mean, I'm confused more than anything. I was singing the praises of Brit, and I know Drickus is half decent, so what's going on, guys?
Yeah. That said, I suppose in the long run it's gonna the communists are gonna win out, but it's gonna cost them probably a lot more than they had expected to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in a multiplayer game like this, that's almost as bad as losing, right?
Yeah, especially with the way that manpower works now, where it's generated rather than generated slowly rather than just you get a big chunk when you switch laws. You don't really have the time, hypothetically speaking, depending on how hard the players you're against are going, to get that back up.
Yeah.
What did the devs do to Italy? We didn't do anything to Italy. I don't think this is necessarily Italy showing its strong suit as everybody else not being so good.
Oh, casting shade again.
Damn straight.
Oh,
that said, Italy are running relatively decent templates if you just quickly swap over to my... Yeah. Like, this is, support companies lacking, but at the end of the day, you've got a decent core of infantry and a nice amount of artillery. And just running that in mountains against poorly planned out random offensives that are very infantry heavy still works out very effectively for player, AI, anybody, really. And I think that's the one thing the Italians have on their side. But damn, this is getting kind of painful to watch at this point. I mean, look at that.
That's a lot of dead Frenchmen.
That is a lot of dead Frenchmen. Also, it doesn't look like the Republicans are on side yet. I guess they still don't want to join.
No, I think they still have their national spirits. No, they do not.
That is a very good point, random person in the chat. I appreciate it. I have not looked at the air map mode at all, and it seems neither of any of the players.
Nice. I think there was some air activity early in the war, and then everyone realized that, oh, hey, these planes are pretty expensive.
Yeah. That's what I meant to do. That's why there was no planes. That was my mistake. I'm dumb. French player and Austrian player are not the dumb ones. I am. I had not clicked France.
In the meantime, although the communists are bombing southern Italy.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking, you know. Because everybody's shooting down just Italian planes, technically everybody's friends in the sky. So even though the communists and the royalists hate each other, they'll happily shoot down the same Italians together. So, you know,
no, it's nice bit of friendship.
Yeah, friendship in a peculiar time.
Yes.
As you know, I believe is the motto of of the Blorg friendship crazy faction name people. Central Blorg Friendship Front. Sorry. And then there's Yugoslavia just sat next to all of this complete chaos, wondering when they're going to be next.
But not too worried, in all honesty.
The weird thing is, never. I was about to say nobody has sent volunteers, right?
But apparently people did.
Yeah, so I suspect this means that, I'll tell you what, we could watch these British volunteers. If they go, whichever front they go to, shows whose side they're on, right? They're trying to block Drickus, then they're on the Austrian side.
Yeah.
They're trying to block the Austrians, they're on the French side.
Watch them get split 2 and 2.
Yep, probably.
Meanwhile, the British Archers almost finished justifying on Iran, so I suppose...
Is Japan and China still not moving?
Nope. It's from time to time there are some exploratory attacks.
What if the wild cards, as we call them, are playing the double game, right? Where they're going to help the royalists and Japan. They're going to take Iraq, and then they're going to start a war with either the communists or Japan, and they're getting themselves into a position where they can do either, right? Take Iran, so you can hit the Soviets in the butt, and then you have the Raj front against China to either help Japan against China or bring forces through to attack Japan.
Ooh, and they also have the border against Xinjiang up here in not particularly good
I'm just gonna
territory.
Quickly check what his lordship Daniel's up to. Nothing too crazy.
Oh, Bulgaria declared war on Greece. Makes sense.
Okay. What happened there?
I don't know.
I mean, apparently Greece wants to join the Europeans, so... Oh, whoa. The Italian front finally had a bloody breakthrough and we missed it. What's going on?
It was a long time coming, I guess.
Yeah, that's very true. You can only... Come on.
Come on. Push.
Keep going.
There's an empty province right there.
Oh! The AI's going to beat them there. Yeah, they'll be there in a matter of... Yep, boom.
Oh, but the Austrians have managed to encircle some Italian divisions in the mountains.
Yeah, but it's not going to... If France can get to the coast before the Austrians push through that gap, that's it. It's done. The question is, can you see that the British are fighting the French?
They are fighting the French. That was...
The British are fighting the French, which means that Daniel may have picked a side in the Comintern royalist debate.
Maybe he goes like, well, for now we're gonna fight the French, and when the French are on their last legs, we're gonna. That's when the Germans least expect us to stab them in the back.
Yeah, we can start a three-way war.
Mm-hmm.
Or a 3-day.
Oof.
Yep.
But if it's today, then it's only gonna be a 1.5 day.
It's a 1.5 day war. I'm sorry, chat. I didn't mean it. Where are these divisions off to? Africa. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Establish in an undefended province. And then hope you can seize a port.
Yep.
Yeah. That's not a bad move, Drickus, rather than fighting down the spine of Italy.
Yep.
Asia, how's it looking?
How's
the Raj doing? Just
the Raj is advancing against
I'll keep my eyes on Europe.
Scattered resistance, although they've run into the Persian army now, or the Irani army, I guess.
Oh, Britain just refused Italy's call to join their faction.
Can't believe it.
I always thought the British were such nice, friendly people.
Mm-hmm. Guess the Italians
100 Years War Part 2.
Yes. This time it's for real.
I mean, I don't think we have the time to run 100 years,
No.
but we'll give it a shot.
But yeah, looks like the communists are finally pushing to cut off.
Yeah, but I mean, is it really going to have been worth it at this point? I mean, France is probably up there. Okay, no, they're still on limited conscription. And the generation isn't horrible. So I suspect they'll actually be fine. They're probably outstripping their production more than they are their manpower.
They still lost 400,000 men.
Yeah, that's very true, but I don't think that's going to matter. I think they're more worried about the equipment than they are the manpower.
That is true.
Which they still have a problem with support equipment, but they're...
And the anti-tank guns also not looking too great, but because...
Drickus is investing pretty heavily in heavy fighters.
That's interesting.
That is... I mean, it's a good move early on, right? If you expect the war to only last till about 40, they're a good choice, but...
I'm wondering if he's expecting to fight someone with strategic bombers. Who would that be?
I have no idea.
No. And meanwhile, Quill has decided to start
The
investing into...
the Soviet Union has accepted our
tanks.
request for a non-aggression pact. It looks like nationalist China and the Soviet Union are making friends.
Huh. That's very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, friends is, a bit of a strong word. A non-aggression pact is a non-aggression pact. That doesn't mean you're friends, but
also
still.
interesting that Britain has declared war on Norway, which of course recalls their volunteers from Italy. So that was a very short
yeah, I suspect
interlude.
They either spoke and said, look, you've lost this war, they're going to reach the coast before, or, I mean, really, defending here just to try and get the Austrians in, it's not worth the effort, right?
Yep.
The French have won, it's just a matter of how much they're going to have to pay to win at this point. And the Mediterranean, as always, is just full of dead things.
Yes.
Right. I'm going to have a quick sweep around, look at some decisions to see if anybody's justifying on anything. Oh, because of the -30 war penalty.
Oh, China's justifying against Tibet
Okay.
Apparently not a fan of Free Tibet.
I mean, didn't they do that last time as well?
Hmm?
Why do I feel like they did that before? Do they just keep justifying on Tibet?
No, I don't think so.
I must have imagined it.
Maybe someone else.
Yeah. And it is possible at the moment for the Soviet Union to step in the Iran war by offering Iran a space in the Comintern, but it doesn't look like they're doing that. Let's have a look. Has the Soviet Union taken any interesting decisions? Not really.
The Raj, meanwhile, is having some issues going up against going into Iran. War probably not progressing quite as they would have liked it.
Yeah, and the UK is not doing anything.
Oh, and the Twitch chat pointed out that they were justifying against Tibet, but they were attacked before they could declare.
Ah, okay. Thank you, Twitch chat, for your constant vigilance.
Exactly. It's not like I was here yesterday. I couldn't know these things.
I mean, it's been a very long couple of days.
Oh, yes.
I suspect it went in one ear and out the other.
Meanwhile, Bulgaria making good progress against Greece, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure what's going to come of this war unless somebody wants to invite Greece into their faction, but I suspect Greece doesn't want to join anybody, so...
Well, Greece is in the same faction as Italy, so...
Eh? What?
Well, I guess...
What faction is that?
Well, not a faction. They are allied with Italy in the same war, I guess.
Right. Beg your pardon. They're in the same... I was going to say war blob, which probably doesn't mean anything to anybody.
Except for the ones working in this office.
Yeah.
But yeah, we call these war blobs internally.
We've redone the war system, so it's not like faction versus faction anymore. It's like big blob relations. A war is a relation rather than a status that just happens to people.
It solves a lot of the weird stuff where, you join a war and all of a sudden your enemy decides he's now in the Chinese United Front.
Woo!
While you're in South America.
Yeah. And indeed, it allows us to do a lot more cool stuff with script triggers and stuff in the future, because it makes the war system way more robust of a system, rather than what it used to be, where it used to fall apart as soon as something bad happened.
When we were doing,
not that war isn't always bad, except for in strategy games.
Yes. No, when we were doing DoD, I went historically Romania switched sides. And can we do this? And the program has just looked.
Dan was just stood behind you with a very large bat, just
going.
Sorry, Gabriel, what you said? You're like nothing.
Nothing. It was just a thought.
Okay, so it looks like France is willing to pay the blood price for this Italian conquest, but holy, wow.
Yep.
I can't believe it got that bad that fast. What?
Meanwhile, Xinjiang is just churning out. Jesus.
Oh, I read that as 280,000, then not 28,000. I was like, Germany, what did you do?
Germany, you can't afford this.
Let's see what Cole's up to on the division front, though. Same as before. Adding some... Ooh, is he going for a 40 artillery? I think he might be going for a 40 artillery.
Going for the good old 40.
Which is a bit
also
brave.
Recruiting quite a few... quite a few...
Light tanks.
Tank divisions.
Not amazing templates either.
Yes, even though he's producing mediums, so I don't know.
He's got the XP to switch as well.
Huh.
What is he up to?
Maybe he wants to train them on light and then switch over later.
Ooh, maybe?
So he has actually built up a stock of medium tanks?
Yeah, it'd be easier to tell if that was a good strategy if he had a medium tank template ready to go, but he doesn't. Remind me of this in like 20 minutes, so I will check again.
Yes. Also, nice comment from Twitch chat telling us that the Germans would have had a focus to assassinate Mussolini, which would have brought Italy into their faction. So it makes sense that the French would, want to go to war and remove that from the table. That's
smart, Twitch chat. Well done.
Yeah. Maybe Twitch chat should commentate, and we just sit here and chat a bit.
We'll start typing, making we'll get in here. How many people do we get in here before it's less of a streaming studio, more of a sauna?
I think the limit is about 5.